Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Backpacktrader training room for Tuesday, September 6th. Hope everyone had a good Labor Day weekend. Please do note the required risk disclosure. This room is for educational and information purposes only. It is not to be considered financial advice. And this type of trading should be entered into with capital that you can afford to lose. All right. I got a couple of minutes to market open. YM is in a short trade that's gone too far, so we'll wait for a new trade setup there. Soybeans is flat, and we'll be looking for a new setup there. All right, crude this morning. You have 1 second after, 3 seconds after after start time, and you're back up above the entry on this short. That touches the stop, so I would take that off, even though the calculator actually continued to follow it, and it did actually hit target too. So if you kept in and got in sync with that short, you got both targets. But the trade that I would have taken would have been this long, sets up right below all three moving averages. And so I would take a 3-tick adjustment to up to 84. Also pushes my money management up to 94, and therefore take target 2 and 3 as your actionable targets. And there's market open. All right, we have a get in sync on soybeans. That popped through too fast to execute, obviously. So we'll wait for it to come back. I think I'd push that up to 75, keep it up above the 50 EMA. But however you played crude this morning, it was one and done either way. Good morning, Pamela. All right. Unleaded. And okay, we hit the stop on soybeans, so that trade is off the table. So the YM is flat, soybeans is still flat. We have a potential short. I would push that down to 15.7, and it just hit 15.7. Actually, probably we're in at 15.9. On the Russell. Possible short on the YM at 419. And now long on the YM at 456. And that just triggered in. The YM is long. From 456. All right. And a possible short on soybeans. $1,400.25. How big is that? 11 ticks target. I would probably take a couple of ticks on that for as a key level adjustment around the about big major key level at 1,400. Unleaded was something similar to the second trade on crude. A minute 46 after our start, we get the long at 46.64. I would push that to probably about 72 and get around the 50, because you got 50 and 200 in there. It's a small tick value on the unleaded, just $4.20 a tick. So take the 8 ticks. You still have plenty of room to the money management. 29 ticks to target 1, 50 to target 2. Get both of those and trailer all the way up to 47.93 from 46.72. So you get 121 ticks on the trailer. All right. Short canceled. We now have a long that we're on soybeans that we're in sync with. Pick that up coming back down. That might be a case where it was rejected off the 50. I might try to hold my order until it came back through and tested the low one more time. And there is a possible short. If you're in the long, stop and reverse is at 1401. If not, 1401.50. YM stops out. Full loss. Russell was a break even. Nothing new since then. So let's take a look at the MNQ. 8:34 exchange time, 9:34 on my charts for our start time. So that's right in there as it stops out of the short. The long, I'm going to take that as a full loss. It may or may not have been tradable. We actually here possibly in the short, and it actually, that one's hit the entry and the stop, so you're going to have to break this bar down to see if it's valid or not. And there it just went to the entry, but I suspect that it probably touched the entry and came back up, and most likely not tradable. So I'm not going to count that one. All right, the short canceled on the soybeans, and we did come back up and hit the entry again, so I would say we're probably in that. All right, so YM still nothing new after the full stop out on the long. Soybeans is just stopped out on its long. So energies did well, but so far, not much else doing much. And good morning to you, Miles, and to Arizona Bob. Welcome everybody back from Labor Day holiday. I imagine we probably have a few on vacation this week. Adding a full week out of it. Reminder that there is no crude oil session tomorrow. That will be Thursday at 11 because of the Monday holiday. All right, the YM continuing down through session lows. Soybeans also continuing down through session lows. The Russell and the MNQ also at session lows. So a down morning. Crude down in the 80s. Well into the 80s. It's down, looks like as low, even around our trade time, it was in the 86, 87 range. Right around 87. And good morning, Johnny. Long setup on the micro NQ. And that just triggered in. 107.25. Nothing happening this morning so far on the pound Aussie. So let's move on to that long was a beauty. That would have been a nice trailer to be in on the crude. And we'll come to the current. All right, definitely in the long on the micro NQ. That's the only thing active right now. Still flat on the YM and soybeans. Taking heat on the micro NQ stopping out, it looked like. 91.50, did we get there? Yep, we definitely got there, and we just got a short. Almost got in right there, got within one tick of our entry there again, and there's get in sync. So in the short on the MNQ. Looks like it was kind of rejected off the session low. And the Russell with, how fast was that? Very likely untradeable on the Russell. I'll leave that one be. YM with a long 31, 331 long on the YM. This is another case you may want to wait for for a test of the session low. All right. And the long stops out. Two stop outs on the YM. Okay, the short on the micro NQ getting down close to target 1. This is the 12-point, 3-point offset custom Renko bar. Using the same trade plan as the 6-2, or the same calculator settings. Just something we're watching. Things have slowed down considerably. We may take a little bit more of a look at the 6-2 and break even stop out on MNQ. That's a squeeze. Not really the way the squeeze zone filter is intended, given that how far apart the 50 and the 200 are on the pound Aussie, but that's what filtered out that long trade on the pound Aussie. Okay, let's see what we've got. Long trade on soybeans. 1398.50. No trigger yet. And the YM not getting close enough to 20 SMA to get a trade. And so everything's flat right now. Except soybeans. It did just trigger into the long. Our indices continuing to head downward. Not a nice morning for the markets, looks like. But lots of movement for us to take advantage of. Unfortunately, we're not taking much advantage of it. Crude and unleaded doing well at 9 a.m. sessions. But the YM has 2 full loss stop losses. All right. Still soybeans long and nothing else. And watching paint this morning. All right, soybeans testing the 50 EMA. Need to get through that to get target 1. 1401 even. All right, and there's target 1 on soybeans. 10 ticks. And that brings our stop to 98.75. With our 3 indices all heading down. All right. Just over 2 minutes to the crude inventory, or to the crude 10 a.m. session. Okay, crude is flat, so we'll look for a new setup in about a minute and a half. Yeah, minute 15. No long on the YM. I would wait, especially considering the trend today. I'd wait for this to test the session lows before I take the long. Soybeans with a 17 tick risk on the first trade. And there is a long with 30 seconds to go on crude. And that stops out, so that trade's off the table. That was on my MCL chart. Still, that trade's still on the table. It's a this is a get in sync possibility. And in the long on crude, 87.36. Looks like it's stuck between the 50 and 200 at the moment. So we'll have to see if that breaks out. Short trade on the Russell, just hitting money management. And also a short trade on the MNQ. YM with a short as well. YM did get target 1 on that trade and trailed up almost to target 1. Now we have a short, plenty of time to get in that, has hit target and is trailing. 31 tick target there. Russell hitting target 3 and 4 and now trailing. And MNQ hitting target 1. Break even at 19.75, 19.75. And soybeans stopping out at 98.75, then going short at 97.75. Target is the session low at 13.95 even. And the YM turning into a very nice trade, as is the Russell. And target 2 achieved on the MNQ. So all 3 of those index short trades are successful. Okay, hitting money management and taking a break even on the crude trade. Now, this is a 200 EMA trade. It's a diamond level trade off of the 200 proximity to the 200 EMA, and that's hit both targets and is trailing down now. Still nothing on the pound Aussie this morning. And stopping out on crude. That'll be a POQ if you trade that. Troy, I don't think uses that on his days, but that's a possibility. So long there that was a little too fast to catch, just coming back to trigger in. $87.03. This for those that didn't use the 200 EMA trade. YM stopping out. That's quite possibly enough to get you positive on the YM. I'm going to assume that did get positive on the YM. And so that would be POQ. If not, you're in the short, or in the long rather. I would have adjusted that long above the 20 SMA. All right, Russell stopped out at 1791.1. Stop and reverse now. Possibility on crude at 79. And going down through it, that order should have been in. So this is the third trade on crude. Assuming you didn't take the magenta trade off the 200 EMA. Another filtered long. Squeeze filter keeping us flat on the pound Aussie. And the MNQ is still short. Russell has a new short. And coming close to the entry now. There's the entry on the Russell. Definitely in that trade. Okay, long. Oh, and that's an exit at 93, and that completes the session on crude. All right, MNQ trailing now, 968.75, and we triggered in on the short on the Russell and took a full stop out, and we just stopped out of the MNQ short as well, and back short again on crude. And we have a long on the pound Aussie, 7082. And that triggered in. All right. That completes crude. POQ, if you use the 200 EMA trade, 3 trade max. If not, and a losing session. Pound Aussie now in a long, and soybean still in the short, getting very close to target 1. Like it's been down to 95.50. It needs to get 95 even. And another short on the Russell. And the YM with another full stop out if you were in that trade. But then just after the stop, went into a short if you needed it. If you were in the long, you're definitely going to need the short. That's a trade off it's the dark blue trade off the SMA, 20 SMA proximity. Looking at the I was looking at the Forex markets this morning, and it looks like the pound, almost all the pound pairs that I saw were up significantly this morning. Looks like the market looking favorably on possible the announcement of a new prime minister for England or Great Britain. All right, now Russell stopping and reversing to long. Target 1. So I believe that might end up being a $89.9 for the break-even stop. That might be already out. I wasn't watching, and it's stopping out anyway for a couple of tick loss. So that actually would be the third loss, even though that's a break-even. Key level adjustment getting us a couple of tick loss. So that'll be the end of that session. Micro NQ long from 960 even. And soybeans hitting target 1. That's an 11 tick target 1. And our trailer is at 1397 even. 3 ticks so far. That'll be 9 total. That'll be 20 ticks for the trade. All right, folks. Nobody's bringing anything up for discussion. And since we had a Monday holiday, I have an appointment coming up that normally is on Monday. So I'm going to have to say goodbye to you for today. Troy will be in for the regular session tomorrow. No crude oil session tomorrow. That will be on Thursday. So at this point, did the MNQ stop out? Looks like it did. Yeah, that stopped out at 44.25. And the stop was at 44.50. So yeah, went a tick below. So MNQ is full stop out. And on that note, we have the pound Aussie long, but that's all it's. And we still have the soybean short. So I'm going to call it a morning, folks. Pamela, you're most welcome. Glad to have you in here. Thank you too, Miles. So have they officially announced a new prime minister, Pamela? Or is that they're potentially doing that? I saw a headline about a possible announcement of a new prime minister. Liz Truss. Okay. Thank you very much. Markets definitely are reacting favorably to that, at least so far. quick look. Pound Aussie just, yeah, there's the close at 5 p.m. yesterday, and it's just not straight up, but it's pretty good upward progression since 5 p.m. yesterday. Not rapid, but fairly strong move there. Although now starting to give some back. Yeah, that's probably, there's something to that because the market is taking that as there should be some stability returning to the currency, with the political situation being a bit more clear now. Uh, and the world political situation is still a bit uneasy, I would say. November over here is going to be interesting with the midterm elections. So we will see what happens. All right, everyone, have a good day. And Troy will be in tomorrow morning. We'll see you tomorrow.